The Ndlea has quite the task ahead of them as drug abuse and addiction continue to rise in Nigeria. In this interview on Politicals, we will get to know the full meaning of Ndlea, its history, major responsibilities, and organizational structure. And to have that conversation with us is a deputy commander, or the deputy commander rehab and counseling Enugu Ndlea, Owunwa Ibezimako Madu. You're welcome, Desi.
Good evening, ma. It's such a big pleasure to be here.
I was asked to find out from you the meaning of Ndlea, at least for civic studies' sake.
Ndlea is the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
Now that you have told us, what do you do?
There's this international convention, not just Nigeria alone, that saw that drug abuse and trafficking is a great menace, and the need to reduce this global scourge. And Nigeria is not an exemption. Youth restiveness, unemployment have led a lot of youth restiveness. A lot of youths have started experimenting on drugs, ranging from the primary type to the secondary type. And the spread is seriously alarming, is terrifyingly alarming, is a terrible situation.
You have just established that there is prevalence of drug abuse,
Yes.
especially among young people
Yes.
in Nigeria. How effective is your agency in curbing not just this abuse, but the trafficking itself? Because that's how these drugs get into the hands of those who use them.
Thank you very much. Let us give this discourse a practical purview. What is the population of Nigeria? We are hearing that we are close to 200 million and counting. What is the population of Ndlea officers? I want to tell you that the ratio of Ndlea officers nationwide, I know the Nigerian police in Enugu State, they are not less than 10,000 policemen. But the ratio of Ndlea officers before the Honorable Chairman Chief Executive, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, took over, were less than 5,000. So what does that tell you? 5,000 officers policing close to 200 million Nigerians. An uphill task. Because a couple of times I sit down and people ask me, drugs are everywhere. What is Ndlea doing? Jackie Chan did not come to Nigeria to train us, to teach you how to do combat without arms. And the people with arms, they are humans like me and you. And we do everything within our limited resources to combat crime. Nobody wey dey born by natural inheritance to combat crime. You are trained to combat crime. But there's something I need to tell you for free, because with the trainings we have, it is difficult for an Ndlea officer to see a drug activity and pretend it's not there. So we are doing everything within our possible best to nip this monstrous multi-headed hydra in the bud. I still maintain it's a very big problem. And as we go on, I'll tell you that it is not a war for only Ndlea. Parents need to join the war. Government need to show direction. Traditional rulers need to come forward. Market women, youths, and politicians need to give us direction. Let me give you a very simple example. Every drug dealer comes from a community. And every drug dealer, the target audience are the local vigilante, and they sponsor them. They give them the impression that the community don't care about you. They buy torchlights, buy phones, walkie-talkies, and everything. So automatically, they pay their allegiance to these drug dealers. So by the time you're asking for information, a typical person in the community will not want to give you information, will not want to tell you what is happening, because that source of minute livelihood, you look at it that you're depriving him of it. Drug dealers don't fall from the sky. And unfortunately, we have looked at ourselves as being parochial, defending our immediate environment against our values and cultures. So a typical youth will not come forward to give you information, because he'll tell you, you want to arrest my brother. And he'll see you as an outsider. And the moment you come and use intelligence-based information to make arrests, the community will even gang up against you to try to give the impression that what you're doing is wrong. But let us be honest with ourselves. You cannot subvert what is right for what is wrong. There is no relationship between sunshine and darkness. They are strange bedfellows, and they do not complement each other.
Now that it's obvious that you have less personnel to actually champion this cause, it's now pertinent to say that there is need for collaboration. How much of that do you get from sister agencies to start with?
Thank you very much. I said before the Honorable Chairman Chief Executive came on board, I was actually waiting for you to ask me this question. We're less than 5,000. But today, from every community in Nigeria, the Honorable Chairman Chief Executive have employed both graduate and secondary school personnel from every community, come local government in Nigeria. Right now we are getting towards the range of 15,000 personnel that are in the employment of the agency. So when you look at 5,000 to 15,000 is an improvement. And with the prompting, encouragement, and orientation of our chairman, I think we have hit the ground running. Why do I say so? Before now, we used to have a state drug abuse control committee. And before now, our area commands, you see one area commander covering like 4 to 5 local governments. But the chairman has made it as a matter of mandate that there should be representation in every local government. And the State Drug Abuse Control Committee have trickled down. We now have local government abuse control committees headed by wives of the local government chairman, the local government chairman, traditional rulers within the community. And there is something that I want to talk passionately about: the integrity test mechanism. The chairman have said that most women suffer domestic abuse. Most young men enter the university as drug addicts, and that has given rise to a lot of young men joining secret cults and polarizing the integrity and stability of the university community and the state. That is a policy now that is heavily driven, that before you enter the university, you'll be tested for drugs. Most families now, by the time you go to marry, you'll be tested, and they'll take the result of the test to the priests and to the pastors and to the church and to the community. Because a lot of families are breaking up, a lot of broken homes. And the woman will look at the man as being successful and a successful businessman, not knowing that he's a drug addict. So by the time that integrity test is conducted, even before the consummation of that marriage, they know his status. The woman, they know her status. So it is an all-encompassing project, and the chairman is very passionate about it. And most higher institutions in Enugu State now have keyed into this national drive, that before they give admission to a couple of young men and young women, they must be tested.
And that has also been extended to NYSC. I think it's still
beautiful,
as a proposal.
Beautiful. Now you see, you are our partner, and you have even taken the words out of my mouth. And I'm happy you are aware that our core members are now being tested. And the chairman...
Okay, I thought it was just a proposal.
No! It is practical and working.
Okay. Now, apart from your number of personnel, which is a huge challenge to combating drug trafficking and abuse, you didn't say anything about resources, the funding of your operations. I guess you guys have plenty money to work with.
The country is going through a process, and the middle managers course sponsored by the European Union, I learned something. They told us that when you're working, don't present your boss with problems. Present your boss with solutions. And that is what I've learned to do. But there is something I'll need to say to the public and to the good people of Enugu State, which my state commander, Commander Abel Sunu Wadahi, who is an apt and cooperative. He had been here in Enugu for about 6 years as head of operation and head of strike force before the Honorable Chairman brought him back about 11 months ago to become the state commander in Enugu. And one of the things he has made a point to do is to go to those that are relevant, ranging from the state governor, and partner with the governor's wife and her NGO, Costos. To the best of my knowledge, he has gone around all the people that matter in Enugu, ranging from the Algon chairman to the Commissioner for Women and Gender Affairs, Commissioner for Health, Commissioner for Education, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. These are the ones that I have within my purview. And he has been able to spread the need. Money will not solve drug problems, but it will help. Available statistics as I speak with you, over 400,000 youths and persons in Enugu within the age range of 45 to 12 are actively involved in drugs in Enugu. Did you hear the statistics? Over 400,000. And what has Ndlea done? My unit, we are like the preachers. You know, when you look to your left, you look to your right, you look back and forth, sin is all around us. So what would the preacher do? Close your eyes to sin. Drug is all around us. And we are preaching, stay away from drugs. So we need the collaboration from government, relevant stakeholders. Our job right now caters more on awareness, on advocacy, than arrests and seizures. We have over 150 pending cases of drug activity in Enugu.
Now, the people you're talking about are traffickers. You get them and you do not arrest them, or?
We arrest them. I said we have over 150
Users.
Pending, not users.
Okay, pending
drug
cases
barons in Enugu.
Okay. Now, you were saying something about not arresting certain people. I was just trying to get it.
Not arresting who?
You said not arresting them, but getting them. I didn't.
No. What I said is the chairman have asked us to concentrate more because our people are uninformed and with limited information. You will get somebody smoking cannabis and he tell you that he's not aware there is a problem. I've been on the side of operations before I became a councillor. I just left as area commander G River. I've been head of operations. I've been OC strike force. I've worked in almost all the local governments in Enugu. And you look at him, you see that he has given you a genuine information. You tell your guy, I know they like smoke cigarette. I they like smoke Igbo. And you look at it that Igbo is not a problem. So that is the crusade that I have found myself in, to tell people that cannabis is a major problem because there is no crime committed in Enugu. Now look at the spate of kidnappings in Enugu. There is no crime. I dare anybody to convince me otherwise. There is no crime that is committed without some iota and influence of drugs. So it is not the time to play the ostrich. It's not happening. My children are doing well, and we don't have problem of drug in our family. But your community, tell me there's no drug in your community. I'll tell you, you're telling lies. Movement is like, you know, and young men are righteously indulging in it. And you see in a community, before you know, community generator where they take pump fuel for the community to have water missing. Solar lights missing. Raping of young girls rampant. Maiming of elderly women. We get little allowances that the children send to them on the rise. You know, every community, they're experiencing a lot of problems.
All of this related to drug use.
I am telling you, there is no crime or youth restiveness in any community that the underlying factor is not embedded in drugs. Quote me.
Let's look at your personnel. Just like, I don't know if this is true, but some persons have said that among those who are incarcerated in correctional centers, somehow drugs find their way into the prisons, and you find out that some of these persons also use illicit drugs. Prison officials have been accused, and there's some kind of accusation of corruption among your personnel. I don't know if it's a case of within every 12 there must be a Judas, or if this is unfounded, the accusations I mean.
What I try to do is to be very honest with myself, and I try to tell the truth at any point in time. If not, Jesus had 12 apostles, and Judas decided to make himself a betrayer. And monkey talk saying a person now pikin wey carry for back, him fit vouch for. So pikin wey carry for belle, him fit vouch for. But the one wey carry for back, he don't know what they do. Out of 15,000 people, if I tell you I can account for each and every one of them, then you know that there won't be any need for this discourse. But one thing we try as much as possible to do is to vet every personnel. But you know, vetting is an ongoing process. It just be like the pop music, good girl turn bad. A lot of persons at the point of entry, they are good, but on the job they turn bad. Should I vouch for that kind of person? No, I will not. So I don't have the mandate to vouch for anybody. But what I can say is that NDLE is an extremely professional and elite organization. Our operations are intelligence-based, in line with AGJA and international best practices. It's an elite organization. It's a quality organization. And till tomorrow, I will tell you I am proud to be an NDLE officer. For one thing, we have protection for our informants. And we hold our informants with high esteem. And you see, unfortunately, for people that try to disparage us, our process of information gathering is so complex that if you give me information now, I will call my officers. This is where this person has given me an information. They will go there. Another set will go and verify. Another set will go and carry out the operation with somebody that will be appointed that was within the range of that investigation as the raid commander. So the process of linking that information to a particular informant is difficult. It's very difficult. And there will be 1 million houses, and will now enter one house and recover exhibit. So people think, NDLE, they be win show. We don't make mistake in the houses we enter. But the only thing is that sometimes, if we don't move very fast, they would have evacuated the exhibit, but the traces will be there for prosecution.
Okay, and your men, you have said that the possibility that someone may turn a Judas is also.
Yes.
So how do you handle such issues? For instance, they get these, during operations, they get access to some of these illicit drugs and they don't get to deliver everything, that is, account for everything recovered. How do you handle such in the eventuality it's exposed?
I see NDLA as a very transparent, like the proverbial goldfish. It's difficult for you to hide in a glass. A certain chairman of this agency was prosecuted.
Oh.
And was convicted. So it's not as if the organization is protecting anybody. If you have decided to be on the side of the law and you now turn against the law, fine. It's your cup of tea. It's your cup of tea. And a certain head of this organization, it was within a public domain, his conviction and years of imprisonment. So one of the things that makes me very happy with NDLA is that our channel of investigation is so unique, very complex, and intelligence-led.
Having said that, let's return to trafficking. With all the things NDLEA does, we still have people who are, confident enough to still traffic drugs. Some persons have attributed that to the evolving dynamics of drug trafficking. Whether that is true or not is yet to be established. Now, as it changes, does it not overwhelm the organization, the agency?
No.
Okay.
On the contrary, it takes two to tango. Have you ever watched this dance. You know, it's a dance, tango. What is tango about? A male and female. You must synchronize with the procession and with adequate timing, so that it's called ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. At every point, if you miss each dance step, you will step on the toes of whom you're dancing with. So you can't discuss Ndlea in isolation. That is why I want to bring in the government. When I say this, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I expect more involvement from Enugu state government. You see, we are paying lip service to the drug fight in this state. I'm just telling you the truth.
When you say this state, it's not actually passing a message, because this is an international television on a cable network. So they will know which state you're talking about.
Enugu state.
Okay.
Because that is where I'm working. We have met the governor, we have met the wife, we have met all relevant stakeholders. But you see, I want to tell you, because I'm equally on the field. Drug problem is not omocho. Omocho is an issue. There must be a policy. And since I assumed this unit, I've told the Commissioner for Education that drug awareness, you see, with all this internet and all these things we are pressing, children learn the things they are not supposed to learn from the internet. So if you say a child is not supposed to know about drugs, you are deceiving yourself. You should let the child know the dangers of drugs and what he's supposed to do when he sees a drug situation. Drug awareness should be infused into the primary, secondary, and university curriculum, so that the children, if you see picking way eye red, the lips dry, the eyes watery, you know that is into drugs, and running nose, and talking incoherently. It's all around us, though. And prominent people are getting involved out of frustration, whatever it is, I don't know. It is, you go to most burials now, you see them selling cannabis, selling murumi for wake-keep. And the government does not think it's a problem. So it's a problem. It's an issue. So our rehab, we have met the governor, we have met up the people that matter, and every day a minimum of 20 persons come to say, I want to rehabilitate my child. He's in the university, he has dropped out, he enters secret cult, he doesn't go to school anymore, he's always in his room.
And in that case, they say, how do you, because I understand that in your office as rehab and counseling person,
yes,
you do not treat this matter as a criminal case.
No, it's not a criminal case.
So, how do you handle this person who uses drugs and has become dependent on drugs and is a cultist?
These are two things.
Okay.
And I want us to streamline them and separate them. Somebody that uses drug is not a criminal. He's a victim of the system.
And that's when rehabilitation.
Yes, yes. You don't stigmatize the person. It's just like somebody that is mad. Whatever you accuse the person or attack the person on, You're just wasting your time. It's just like a learner. Somebody who knows how to drive, and is learning how to drive. So if you jam your motor, the government will hold you. So a drug-dependent person is a patient. The same way you treat patients in the hospital. So why should you want to prosecute a patient? You first of all treat the patient. And as I'm talking with you, a lot of patients are on the rise in Enugu State. Oh. A lot of young men and young women. As I talk with you now, we have dedicated a part of our female cell to rehabilitate young men. And a lot of females are coming along. But we don't have space. You can't put a male and a female. Because what you want to achieve, if you put them together, you will lose it. So we have begged, 11 months now, we are begging Enugu State government, give us a rehabilitation center. Call on well-meaning individuals. We have space. We have gone to almost all the Igwes in Enugu. The Council of Igwes should put 5 million and give us a male and female rehabilitation center. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand you perfectly well. At some point you talked about community help, and now you have brought it up again. How much help, how much collaboration actually is possible with communities?
I don't know. In Enugu, Abi?
Anywhere else. It doesn't have to be Enugu.
I'm working in Enugu. So I can only talk about Enugu. So what I expect government to do, because
you're leaving communities to talk about government, sir.
Who does government represent? Government represents communities. They don't work in isolation. They don't work in isolation. Okay. You see, we are looking at government policies and directions. As I talk with you now, you go to schools to educate the children, and they'll tell you that government have said, don't talk to our children. There is a policy. We want to see the Commissioner for Education, and he promised us that he's going to relax that Thursdays we can talk to the children or to the pupils. And I'm yet to see the circular. It's over 3 months or 4 months. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So if you don't talk to the children to identify, because you see, drug abuse has trickled down to primary schools.
Primary schools?
Yes.
How do they possibly?
Off camera, I will give you some names of primary schools within this area. Within this area, I will give you names of some secondary schools. Just go from 11. You see that smoking cannabis at the back of the school. I don't want to, you see, I don't want to be quoted. Let it not be as if I'm stigmatizing some schools. Some very old schools in Enugu, go by 11. They are smoking cannabis. Secret cults. We thought it was a university thing. Primary schools have imbibed it. So if you people don't see a problem to it, it's a problem. So that is why I want to disabuse the issue of money. It's not money. That's what I tell people. You can't give me money. You can't give me money to do my work. Create the enabling environment. And let us tell the people, don't give us money. We are not interested in money. We went to an Igwe, that is the Council of Chiefs. And he was so impressed. And he decided to make exercise books with drug message to his people. And this Igwe brought youths that are abusing drugs for rehabilitation. And after they were rehabilitated, he sent them abroad and gave them a tasking. In fact, I'll mention this Igwe because he has influenced us, he has infected us positively. Ogidi Gada. Ogada Gidi. I don't know him. And at every point in time, he comes around to ask us, what do we do? I want my community quality person, quality man. He's so interested in the well-being, and that is what we expect government to do.
Before we let you go, I'd like you to utilize our platform to talk to young people, because you, as a result of you handling the rehab unit, rehab and counseling unit here, you have interfaced with quite a number of young persons who are already dependent on drugs, and the issue has become problematic with them. So what do you tell them, to let them see the dangers of drug abuse?
First of all, like the proverbial preacher that will tell you, do not sin, that the kingdom of God is at hand. I want to tell youths, please, there are so many positive things that you occupy your time. Stay away from drugs. It doesn't make you macho. It doesn't give you any positive vibe. Stay away from it. Like the proverbial Moses in the Bible, know where you're coming from. Think about your father. Think about your mother. Think about your circumstance and look at it that you have to make your parents proud. Please, engage in positive things. Upgrade your family. Like I tell these youth, if the integrity of your family stops, if the buck stops at your table negatively, what betide you? So keep your family lineage integrity alive. Stay away from drugs. There is nothing good about drugs and drug addiction. It ends in woes and bitterness and tears. Youths should organize themselves into creative things. Create an agricultural, rain on the fall now. You should organize themselves. Go to government. Give us yield. Let us plant. Give us land. Let us plant. So that at the end of the day, you know that you're harvesting cassava, corn, beans, and whatever. Stay away from drugs.
Stay away from drugs. That caps it up on our conversation on Politicals this night. Operations of the Ndlea was our focus, and the Deputy State Commander Rehab Counseling, Ndlea Enugu State Command, Ibezimako Madu, was our guest on this. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us.
The pleasure is mine. Anytime, any day, I want to come here and spread the crusade.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.